a leader, all right?
Mm-hmm.
This is one thing I give Carmelo a lot of flack, I should say.
You do.
Okay. Carmelo Anthony, you don't hear him come out of his mouth with stuff like this when his team's not winning. Why? He's always going to put up his stats. He's not leading them the way he should be. Neither is John Wall right now. You can put up the best stats. If your team's not winning, you're not leading. So what he's doing is putting up inflated numbers on a bad team, essentially, is what he's doing right now. And the Wizards are not a bad team. Now, they've had some injuries.
Lots of them.
They have, yes. I understand. However, are they the 10th best team in the East still?
No.
Thank you. Shut your mouth, play ball, win. You're a great player. Do it on the court, man. You can shut everybody up by winning.
Mark, what do you think about that?
Shoot, I agree. This team is very talented, but yet they look awful. Like if you actually watch, a couple Wizards games in a row, you're just going to see it. You're just going to be like, well, how did that happen? And why did this happen? And John Wall's playing great, just as Paul alluded to. He's playing great, but he's not elevating that team.
Exactly.
And when it's time for the timeouts, the huddle or whatever, you gotta motivate those guys. You're the point guard, you're the leader, you're the best player on the team. You have to motivate those guys and really get their games up to par. They have talent on this team, but it needs to be a players only meeting or something. That should have been happening, but just you're the leader, you're the best player. You got to get people to play.
Well,
he's really not doing that right now. He's doing a lot of complaining, and that's unacceptable.
What's one reason DeAndre Jordan wanted to leave this offseason? Because Chris Paul was getting on him too hard, right? Being a leader. That's what a point guard does. It's what a leader does.
Well, here's a question.
You can be soft and not like it, but it needs to be done. And that's something that needs to be done in Washington right now.
Here's my question about this. This is for both of you guys. Now, John Wall is putting up probably the best numbers of his career this year.
He is. No, he is. Individually, he's playing great. I said it.
You can only lead but so much at one time. You realize the Wizards, before the Markieff Morris trade, was starting Garrett Temple and Jared Dudley in their starting five.
Okay.
Paul, you and Marc can average more points a game than Garrett Temple and Jared Dudley right now.
It's possible.
Okay.
But let's talk about this. Let's talk about this because he's talking about Reggie Jackson. Reggie Jackson's averaging 19 points a game, so is John Wall. Now he's averaging about 3 more assists and 1 more rebound. So his stats are slightly better.
Look at the steals.
Listen, I've already alluded to Reggie Jackson's defense. It's non-existent. All right, so that we don't even really need to go there.
And the block shots.
But I'm talking about you're saying that he's carrying this team or he's trying to carry this team. You're not. I mean, 20 and 10 is great. Those are good numbers. But it's not enough.
But you got to think John Wall is not a scoring point guard.
He's got to be.
He's a pass-first point guard.
He's got to be.
When he was a scoring point guard, the Wizards were way worse than where they are now. The thing is, he's
not finding what he needs to be doing to make this team a playoff team right now.
What other player in Washington is putting the ball in the basket? Mark, answer that question for me. Please tell me what other Wizard player is putting the ball in the basket on a consistent basis.
Right now, but the thing is, though, some of these guys actually can do something, or have done something in their career. Dudley and Temple, have shot the ball well in their career before. They got to shoot it well now.
Gortat was a double-double guy last year.
Okay, but
these guys aren't stepping up. I mean, what more do you want John Wall to do?
Exactly.
But he really needs to challenge these guys, and I don't think that's happening. That's my problem. If you challenge them, and you know what, Garrett Temple, even though you shot over 40% from three before, Dudley, you've been a marksman before. Gortat, you've been a double-double man before, and it's just not in you to do it now. I mean, your career done passed you by, and okay, cool, accept that. But you know what? I'm not going to accept that if I'm John Wall. Y'all guys been something before. Y'all need to be something right now.
Sometimes you have to get more out of less. Look at Kyle Lowry last year when DeMar DeRozan was down. Please don't tell me that team was good. It was not.
Mm-hmm.
That Raptors team was not good last year. Without DeMar DeRozan, they were not a good team. However, please tell me they weren't a playoff team, because they were.
They were. But here's my question. Is it more of John Wall not getting the best out of his players more than Randy Whitman not getting the best out of his players?
Listen, and that's part of it as well. Randy Whitman, I don't really understand how he got the job. I mean, I was never impressed with his previous performances.
He was a bad NBA player.
Well, I mean, that doesn't mean anything per se. I mean, you can be a good coach without being a great player. But the thing is, if your coach isn't doing it, you got to do it as a leader. You have to. Listen, all right. People want to throw shade at LeBron all the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's be honest, man. Those Cleveland teams, when he was carrying them to the playoffs every year, they were pretty bad.
Mo Williams was an all-star.
Come on, man. And that's because of the record. But even before that, when they had Wally Szczerbiak only. You see what I mean? They had some bad teams. LeBron carried them. Not only did he carry them, I mean, they were a top 3 team. You know, I don't expect John Wall to be LeBron.
Is that what you're expecting?
No, it's not. I expect them to at least be a playoff team. They're not even a playoff team.
But one man can't play 5 people. That's
LeBron
the thing.
Does. Or did.
LeBron's 6'8", 260 pounds.
See, this is another thing, man. You're giving John Wall a pass where you wouldn't give other players a pass.
John Wall's a point guard.
You wouldn't give. Are you giving James Harden a pass this year?
James Harden don't play defense, and no, James Harden doesn't get a pass. The Rockets.
Thank you.
The Rockets.
If no one
worse.
else is getting a pass, John Wall does not get a pass.
What I'm saying is, at least in the case of James Harden, you have another superstar player. It's not. It's not the fault of John Wall that in the case of Harden and Howard,
again,
they tried to trade each other. They tried to trade for each other.
Beal has played some games, right? Mm-hmm. Still losing. Gortat's played games, still losing. They've had their players for several games, and they're still losing. Okay? There's something missing there, and John Wall needs to be the leader. I think John Wall is a great player. I thought going into the season, he was right there with Kyrie as the 5th best point guard in the league. That was my take. All right? And that's behind a couple other guys. We'll don't need to get into that. But he's right there at that borderline 5th, 6th spot of point guard.
Well, John Wall said in the article on Yahoo, and I want Mark to take the lead on this one. John Wall says he is, and this is quoting himself, he is the 3rd best point guard in the NBA right now, behind Curry and Russell Westbrook.
Shoot, who's actually number 3? I mean, because that's up for debate. Chris Paul, he started playing well. So Kyle I would say, he's in that conversation. But then when you look at it, Lillard and all these other guys,
Lowry, Lillard. Stop.
A lot of them are almost like they're all good players.
They're all on the same level.
This is what I need him to do. I need him to stop talking and play ball. Damian Lillard. Oh, we want to talk about guys? Want to talk about guys with bad teams? Do we want to do it? Because Damian Lillard has a very bad team.
We got 3 minutes before the break. Let's go ahead and talk about that.
Mark Johnson, does Damian Lillard have a bad team?
His team isn't really that good,
Thompson,
but,
does Damian Lillard have a bad team?
Hey, Portland is in the playoffs right now.
My point exactly, in the West.
That's only because New Orleans is not healthy.
Stop it, John Wall. Stop it. Damian Lillard is carrying a bad Blazers team. McCollum's playing okay. All right, he's playing pretty good. He's averaging 20 a game. That's not bad. Mm-hmm. Like, he's getting a little bit of help. But it's the West, and they're in the playoffs, and that team is bad.
Well, you have to think. Now, the teams that are supposed to be in front of Portland are bad, too. You got to think. New Orleans, they've been hit with injuries. New Orleans is supposed to be better than Portland.
Understood.
Okay.
But they're not ahead of Portland.
Sacramento.
Okay, let's talk about the teams ahead of Washington, shall we?
Let's go ahead for a second. We got a minute or so.
Right. So let me pull up the standings real quick.
Charlotte's one of them.
Yeah, shouldn't be ahead of Washington.
Why shouldn't they be?
Come on, man. Dan, you're the only person that thinks Charlotte should be ahead of Washington.
Because
or people in the city of Charlotte.
Because of the play of Nick Batum.
Nick Batum's been injured.
But when he's come back,
come on, man.
The play of Nick Batum, the play of Kemba Walker, is the reason why Charlotte's in the playoffs.
Kemba's been out a lot.
Out a lot?
Kemba's been out several games this year.
And so has Batum. But when they played together with that back,
all right, so as bad as Chicago's played, you don't think they should be ahead of Chicago right now? Chicago's been awful.
Chicago has more talent than Washington.
They do have more talent.
So I think Chicago should be in front of Washington.
No, they shouldn't. Even the way they're playing.
Even right now, without all those bigs in Chicago, no Noah, and no Jimmy Butler, I think they're still better than Washington.
No.
They're still better than Washington. Mark, what do you think?
No.
No, I can't agree with that either.
No, man.
You still have Pau Gasol.
That's it. Don't say Derrick Rose.
You have Gasol. You have Derrick Rose. Yes, you do. You do have Derrick Rose. For right now, until his knee goes out sometime on Friday, he's due for an injury. He hasn't been injured in 2 weeks now.
Yeah, he's drinking milk now, I guess.
He's drinking his son's milk or something. But because Derrick Rose hasn't gotten injured, you have to count Derrick Rose. You have to count him.
Why?
He's still active. He's playing.
Okay, so if that's the case, you have to count Gortat. He's still active. He's playing. You have to count Brad Beal. He's playing.
Okay.
All right, now what?
But I still think Chicago, top to bottom from 1 through 14 is still better than Washington. Keep going, Paul.
Oh, man.
Indiana's in front of Washington.
Indiana's in front of Washington. They're not a good team. They are Paul George.
And the play of Marc's guy.
Miles Turner has been balling, but let's keep it real now. That's really just been a couple games.
Well, it's been since February. And so Miles has been.
It's been the last couple games.
Yeah, since February started. It's been like he's been a starter since the 1st of February.
Right, and a week out for All-Star. So, I mean, he's played well for 5 or 6 games.
And Monta Ellis is actually starting to act like a real basketball player.
Better, but I'm talking about up until February, right before All-Star break, because that's when most of these comments were made by John Wall. I'm sorry, man. Indiana's not a better team than
Boston's in front of them.
Boston.
They're a better team. Mark, you agree?
I might have to lean on Boston.
Yeah, Boston's a better team.
Boston's a little better. Boston's a little
better, but really it's due to that coaching, that Brad Stevens.
He's doing well. Yeah, he is.
I know one team that's not better than Washington. That's Philadelphia. But
and that the record shows. I mean,
sorry, Mark. Sorry, Mark and PJ. I had to do that one.
Yeah, but I mean.
Okay, look.
They're right there with Milwaukee. Behind Detroit.
Milwaukee should be in front of them.
No, a lot of these teams,
are talented.
Yes, including Washington, and that's why I don't understand.
Last
year we're talking about a top 4 team.
Yeah, I think it's more. I think more than John Wall. I think it's the poor coaching and the fact of I think this team knows that Randy Whitman is a lame duck head coach. He's not coming back next year.
No, they're going to make a run at Durant, so they're going to ask who Durant wants.
Okay, well, Paul,
that's going to be part of the pitch.
Before we go to break, John Wall did make one other comment. Let me see if you agree with this one. Wall had said that he understands that the team is trying to make a run for Kevin Durant this summer. He understands that.
Yeah.
But he says he doesn't want this year to be a wasted year. Do you agree with that? He feels like this is becoming a wasted year because the Wizards are so intent on chasing Kevin Durant.
I appreciate that comment. I do. I do appreciate that comment, but he's wrong. I mean, let me explain real quick.
You can never be wrong with Chick-fil-A.
So I appreciate the comment because it shows compassion. It shows that he wants to win, a competitive nature. I like it. What I don't like is he's wrong because that is the move to be made over the summer for Washington. It really doesn't matter what they do this year. They're not contenders. So I don't agree with him, but I like that he said it.
Mark, do you agree with what he said on that one?
I agree with what he said, but it's not like Washington's tanking like some other franchises who should remain nameless. But, it's not like they let's get Kevin Durant and just dump everybody. They didn't do that. They fielded a good team this year, but they faced a rash of injuries and you have other guys who are on the team aren't playing up to their potential, and that's it.
Exactly. So, I like that he said it, but I disagree with him.
Well, I think in John Wall's case, I agree with some of the stuff he said. Now, as far as being the third best point guard in the league, that's kind of laughable. Top 5, I can see, but top 3, no.
He's borderline top 5.
It's arguable for debate. But as far as anything else goes, I agree. If you read the Yahoo article, I agree with a lot of the stuff he said. The guy wants to win. He just knows that everybody else around him, for some reason, isn't clicking on the same level as him. Now, he did say he has to be more of a leader, and he's got to be more vocal.
Right.
But it's only so much talking you're going to do. In LeBron's case, like Paul mentioned, LeBron catches a lot of flack for not being a leader. But like you said, he's made a leader. He's made teams. Yeah. He's made teams that can probably barely beat Lake Howell High School out here, into championship contenders. So I give you that.
Yeah.
So we're gonna head to break, and when we get back, it's everybody's favorite segment. We're going to be talking college basketball. It's getting to be a week before March.
Boy.
And it's starting to heat up. So we're going to let Mark Johnson take over with his college basketball segment. This is NBA Full Court Press Radio on Sports Talk City Team, sponsored by SOFOELLC. We'll be right back after the break.
Shirts Just For You is a unique custom graphic apparel store. Our motto is made for you, inspired by you. We offer a variety of designs ready for purchase, or you can create your own at no additional cost. With spring just around the corner, they would like to get you prepared, whether just for yourself or for your big event, like a family reunion, bachelor or bachelorette party, or even a work function. When you buy 4 shirts, get the 5th free using the code NBA FCP Radio. Buy 4, get more at checkout.
Are you looking to expand your reach and following in all platforms of media? Do you need a jump start in expanding your brand to all markets across the world? SOFO is here for you. SOFO means something for everyone, and they are here to help you expand your business through all platforms of media. Their experienced team is here for you to expand your brand and put you and your business in places that you would have never been before. Check them out at www.sofoellc.com or call 407-607-9862. Follow SOFOELLC on Instagram and Twitter.